The new Demon Slayer game has released for early access. For anyone who's purchased the deluxe edition, we finally are able to play the game. I fortunately was given a review code for the game, and I wanted to express my gratitude to Sega. Now, I also wanted to explore because a lot of anime games have been launching with issues, and I wanted to give an objective points of view. The three key areas that I want to look at are the ones that tend to affect anime games that have been falling flat as of recent. So I want to look at its story mode, its offline content, and its online content to make the determination of whether this is worth it or not. Now, when I booted up Demon Slayer, it threw me right into the story. Whether I had the option to go straight online or not, it seemed like I had to play through the prologue before I could actually access the online. It's completely fine because it didn't take long. It offered up the ability to teach me the basic controls, playing with Tanjiro, as well as extra tutorials the game threw at you. Even if you open up the options menu, it will give you all the information you needed to have the basic understanding of the controls. Now, as you might expect, the game does cover part of the anime's story. Now, I played through the prologue of the game as mentioned, and I got the hang of playing with Tanjiro. I thought this was straight to the point, which allowed me to get a good feel of the combat as well as how the story will be presented in this game. Now, after I played through the prologue and got the hang of stuff, I decided to test out a few characters, specifically Tengen and Giyu. I think Tengen looks like a freaking cool character, plus he got the Ys, but he actually is fun to play with. I actually played online with him for a bit, and Giyu the same. I remember seeing gameplay from him from the first game, and I was like, you know what, he's like the water version of Itachi. We're gonna play with him. Now, I learned while playing, he also shares a voice actor with Nero from Devil May Cry 5, Johnny Young Bosch, and while I played trying to grasp the basics to combat, I experimented with both of these characters, more so Tengen, so that I probably would pick them up and play with them online. Now, the game offers a couple pieces of offline content. Besides the story mode, there is the verse mode. Verse mode consists of versus player versus CPU, practice, match settings that you configure them, as well as endurance matches. The endurance matches essentially were a version of arcade slash survival. There's a mode called Path of a Demon Slayer, which gives a review of the story up to the point the game starts at. So basically the first game or the events that unfolded in the story up before the start of this game. And this is via battles. And then there's another mode called Training Paths. In Training Paths, there's presents all the Hashras, and they have a path that you could take until you ultimately come to them to fight. I'll be honest with you, I only played it one time just to get the idea how it was. I'll probably have to spend more time to get the full grasp on the mode. Essentially felt like something that I played before, and it reminded me of Rage and Blast 2. Kind of remind me of the routes that you could take in Battlezone slash something out of Galaxy mode with different specifications, different things when you go to a different part on the board. You can earn Kimetsu points to unlock characters, or if you want to unlock those characters, you can play through the story. Now, this is probably the one thing that was a little is that the amount of points that you earn is very low. Like online, I think I earned like 100, 200, but granted, if you're paying like 10, 20, 50 matches, you'll rack up the points fast. But if I want to get my characters I'm going to play with or experiment with all the characters, I'm going to be doing a lot of playing, or I'm going to have to spend a lot, if not all my time in story mode to get the characters that I want. And speaking of online, I spent some time online as I mentioned. I used Tengen as well as Giyu. The netcode wasn't bad, but in some cases it did feel like there was a little lag, but it wasn't anything like the other games I have experienced. I actually played a good amount of matches online. My first few matches were rather interesting. I had to get used to how the game controlled, and honestly, it's not that the game's controls are complex or anything, but it's just I have to get used to how certain things happen. If you play a game like Storm so much, you're assuming that okay, this is what you do with the controller, but that's not the case. So ultimately, my biggest hurdle is getting the understanding of the controls out the way. Once I have that packed down, I'm going to be good to go. Now, online has ranked that's coming out. It's probably out by the time you're watching this video. Casual matches, and there are group, aka rooms with spectator. Everyone knows all this stuff, and ranking, of course. And then there's the PlayStation tournaments, which I don't know how that's fully going to operate. But overall, from what I've played, I do think this game is going in the right direction. If I had to compare it to another anime game release, I'm not going to say the name, but it rhymes with bumper up bumper. This game seems to be doing much better in a reception category, but we're going to have to wait for like the next 2 weeks before we make the final determination if this game is going to be a game changer or if it's a pretty game that people are going to enjoy, but not a massive game that everybody's trying to hype up. The game has content and it released with features majority of the people wanted. I will be putting together a review for the game, and I'll try to have this out by the time the game launches, the base game, August 5th. So stay tuned for that. With that being said, that's going to be it for the video. I am Makai saying what yo, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.